The weapons of Blue Lock are so insane that these young kids are said to rival Ronaldo and Messi?
You're smoking crack!
But what makes them so overpowered are their weapons, which unlock new abilities that increase their skill and make them stand out in unique ways. Many players can use the same weapon, but it's their true awakening with their ego that unlocks something special that others can't replicate. First, there's Nagi, the fan favorite from season 1. With his genius talent that occurs rarely in a generation, he developed a weapon called trapping. It stems from his perfect ball control, as the first touch is the difference between catching people out of position and you being trash at succeeding in scoring goals. Essentially, Nagi plays much like Bergkamp in Arsenal, where he scores impossible looking goals in unfavorable positions even whilst under pressure by the defense. His strength is so insane that pre-awakened Isagi said his skill went beyond his vision, and his fake volley was absolutely bonkers. Nagi's ability to control the ball with a single touch is only rivaled by Rin Itoshi, the #1 player, escaping his logic when he did a double fake. He can transform any kind of pass into a potential attack, no matter the quality or its attributes. This power was seen when he controlled Isagi's difficult pass during the match against the Japan under-20, using his heel to flick the ball onto a charging Isagi over the heads of the defense. Heck! We've seen this dude even control the ball with his back to confuse his opponents, which combines with his spatial awareness to create amazing traps and shots. But unfortunately, despite having genius talent, the dude fell off a cliff. In the Neo-Egoist League, he's having severe problems developing his weapons further. He joined Man City, where Chris Prince is, the second best rated player in the world, as his coach. Chris refined Nagi's ball control even further to increase the power of his traps and first touch pass. He can now do them whilst being pressured by 2 defenders whilst moving at a fast pace called a zero reset turn, where eventually his flow state unlocked 2 more weapons called the 2-stage fake volley shot and the 5-shot revolver. Although he still needs to master his flow ability, Nagi scored a goal with it that is considered the best goal in the history of the manga. The 2-stage fake volley was performed in the rematch between Isagi's Team White and Rin's Team Red. Now, when Isagi becomes a pro player, there is a problem, as he will be traveling away from home to play matches all the time, and he will be connecting to a hotel or stadium Wi-Fi, which might be a massive security risk for him, especially since he's getting the girls now, he's pretty rich, and he's famous. So unfortunately, Wi-Fi hackers can easily steal his credit card numbers and bank logins by taking advantage of these unencrypted public networks. But if he downloads our sponsor ExpressVPN, his browsing will be protected. That's because ExpressVPN will reroute 100% of his network's traffic through their encrypted servers, keeping his online traffic safe and secure. Plus, without a VPN, his internet service provider can see every website he visits. That means his ISP has all of the data they need to get the greatest player in the world cancelled on Twitter. But with ExpressVPN, Isagi's private browsing is actually private, you know what I'm saying? I myself have been using ExpressVPN for years to prevent my ISP from seeing my internet activity. All I have to do is have the app installed on my phone, tablet or PC, and with the press of a button, I am protected. It's not just about defense though, as ExpressVPN also acts as a striker, allowing me to access TV shows or movies that aren't normally available in my country. This is on multiple streaming services such as Netflix, Disney Plus, and more. For example, let's say I wanted to rewatch Blue Lock season 1 before the new season, but it isn't available on Netflix US or UK. So I just switch my server to India and bam! Now I can watch not only Blue Lock season 1, but Kuroko no Basket, Slam Dunk, or even Haikyuu all on Netflix. So there's no need to pay for every streaming service under the earth. So what are are you waiting for? Find out how you can get 3 months free by scanning the QR code on screen and clicking the link in the description box below by going to expressvpn.com/abd. Nagi at the last second before shooting changes the angle of it to send the ball spinning in the air. The speed of the ball's spin makes it float in place, allowing Nagi to follow up with a high-powered strike. Rin himself could not predict or counter the move, and it was good enough to provoke him into getting serious. When Henri first saw it, she described it as a miracle, but Ego suggested it was a move possible because of flow state. Later, the 5-shot revolver took this even further, which basically looks like this. He essentially kicks the bottom of the ball in the air, killing its forward momentum and giving it spin, performing the fake over and over again to avoid defenders. And then Nagi shoots, scoring a goal. The goal was so astounding that the combined defensive forces of KAISER and Isagi couldn't stop it. The entire field looked in pure awe and disbelief. And on social media, the shot is described as the goal of the century. But unfortunately for Nagi, Jinpachi Ego describes it as something that can never be recreated ever again. And if a player can't repeat their talent, it means it was a fluke and he's trash. And to be honest, he isn't wrong. This is like some pure anime bullshit type goal, I'm just saying. Like, seriously, I think the ref would have given you a yellow card for unsportsmanlike behavior for showing off. Essentially, Nagi's 5-volley fake-out weapon gave him success above his talent, and that can have dangerous effects to his ego, where he is still finding reason for motivation to awaken his true powers. It gets so bad that the one guy that takes the complete mockery out of Nagi is Barou, because his weapons got so strong that he wants to become a king that sits on the throne, calling Nagi a peasant in chapter 245. Barou told Nagi to go rock bottom, despair, and die. You have no aura, fam. But he has all the power to back up this claim. His physique enables him to push against opponent players to create the space he needs. In the Ubers vs Bayern Munich match, Barou scored the second equalizer, charging everyone and still went up and down the field at an insane rate. Barou's physique, as noted by Isagi, is incredible, maintained by a diligent and extensive workout routine that enables him to leverage his physicality against anyone. Even Isagi, the highest IQ player in the series, was dumbfounded when he challenged Barou. He thought he figured out his limits, but Barou proved to be breaking past it constantly by shooting more than 29 meters away from the goalpost. During the Neo-Egoist League, it is shown that Barou has not only increased the range of his shot, but he is now able to curve it more. This is ridiculous, because in chapter 166, the same shot range for Isagi only has a 2% chance of getting into goal based on his own calculations. Basically, Barou is a complete forward, meaning he has every aspect a striker would need, such as technical ability, clinical finishing, and physical strength, where Noah praised him with Snuffy for being the best. His aura is so overpowered that every single player in Uber only follow his lead and make plays for him as the king. He heightened their morale to follow when they started losing a match. Barou disregarded Snuffy's plans to actually win. He basically forced the team to follow where he scored a goal, proving he's the very best. But that's not all. He's got a few other weapons, one of which is stealth kill shot. Snuffy trained Barou where he claimed that his middle shot is powerful and accurate. However, if the goalie can see it coming, then it will be hard for Barou to score regardless of how talented he is. So to improve, Barou trained his ability to shoot the ball in a crowded space, using his team as a wall to cloud the goalie's view, making it impossible to react in time. But when he combines this with his other weapon, it's game over. It is called Predator's Eye, the complete opposite of meta vision. Instead of seeing the bigger picture like Isagi, Barou zeroes in on the goalkeeper like a hawk. It maximizes the use of the player's central vision, which helps them get a better view of the opponent and find the best timing to shoot when they drop their guard. This worked perfectly with his nutmeg goal that destroyed everyone. He managed to score a goal by nutmegging Isagi, KAISER, and Mark Snuffy at the same time. He's so insane that his succession rate of a goal is 70%. Considering that freaking Ronaldo has only a 30% success rate, this is crazy. But speaking of destroying everyone, Bachira does just that with his creative dribbling. His dribbling weapon is so advanced that Isagi said it would be impossible for him to outright steal the ball in a one-on-one. Remember when he dribbled past Isagi and then took on all three defenders, Chigiri, Barou, and Nagi, being past them with his nutmegs to go through on goal. He did this again when he destroyed the entire Japan under-20 defense. Bachira is basically the embodiment of Neymar, Messi, and Ronaldinho. And before powering up further in Blue Lock, he already could do hyperspeed scissors, the Marseille turn, air elastico just like Ronaldinho, and the Rabona. Eventually, he joined Barcelona under Lavinio, and after training with him, he unlocked a new power in his weapon, moving away from proactive dribbling to more a counter-active dribbling of play, preferring to read his opponent's movements first. Lavinio taught Bachira in chapter 160 about Ginga from Brazil. It comes from capoeira, which is a mix between dancing and martial arts. It's a swaying upper body as if lethargic whilst touching the ball as if absorbing them. Bachira's teacher basically tells him to find his own style. For him, it's an image of a butterfly. He ends up copying all his sensei's moves, evolving to make his own style with his imagination, which of course is called a monster, and we all memed it from season 1. He gets so good that when dribbling, it's as if he has infinite options without moving forward at all. However, that's not Bachira's only weapon. He's excellent at passing, even doing the no-look pass, long balls that range 60 meters, quick crosses that assisted Rin's goal against the World 5, the heel lift pass which avoids the press from his opponent, and a B shot which is too fast to react against. This dude is always rated top 10 in every arc of Blue Lock for a reason. Because remember the monster I mentioned? When he enters the flow state, awakening his true power, Bachira can perform everything on instinct and faster. He copied Lavinio's weapon called Ginga, where he can even do an attack known as Rising Dance that can defeat a 2-on-1 situation. For example, Lavinio does a rainbow flick to get past one opponent and then using the same opponent as a wall to stop the other from pursuing him. Bachira becomes unpredictable to even those with meta vision in some cases. He calls this weapon Monster X Ginga, which gives birth to more abilities called the Trick Break and Monster Lift. Trick Break basically lets him read his opponent when he chop dribbles and limits their response. He baits them to devour it. Monster Lift on the other hand, bruh, just look at this clip, it's absolutely insane. But Bachira is nothing against the most broken character in the series, who has the most weapons on the list and is ranked the #1 player in Blue Lock, and that is none other than Itoshi Rin. He's a playmaker, which means he controls the flow of a team's offensive play, and he's so strong at it that one of his powers is called puppeteering. Whether on offense or defense, Rin can grasp the abilities of both his teammates and opponent, where he forces out their best plays and abilities. But it goes a step further, as Rin manipulates a player's strength against a weakness just so he can score goals. The perfect example of this is during the second selection where Rin is facing Isagi, Barou, Nagi, and Chigiri, where the score is 2-2. So Rin decides to lock in. As the match kicks off, Rin has first possession of the ball but decides to pass to Tokimitsu, the only person with the physique strong enough to dethrone Barou and win the ball back from an awkward position. Just as he secures the ball, Rin has already put himself in a position a bit further into the pitch to receive it once again. This time, he chooses to throw a high pass to the only person in Blue Lock with the height necessary to trap the ball with his chest. Rin essentially used Ayu's height here to counter Chigiri's speed, who was his opponent, to steal the ball. But without even giving Ayu a second to think, as soon as the ball lands on his feet, Rin is already at a position where he has no choice but to pass the ball to him. Nagi rushes forward to intercept, but Rin easily goes past him. But what's this? Isagi has already made his way to thwart Rin from scoring a goal? No, this was all according to Rin's plan. He is freaking Aizen, bitch, as he purposely understood all the strengths and weaknesses of all the people on the pitch to pit them against each other just to serve him like a dog. This all leads to Bachira being open and he scores a goal. Everyone knew it was Rin's puppeteering soccer that scored it actually. This is so effective that Rin is considered the best, and in the third selection, he was averaging 2.5 goals a game. And then in the Neo League, he scored a hat-trick every single time, even against Man City, which was Nagi's team. He's the best because Rin isn't afraid of cooperating with his team to create chemical reactions. Most of these goals are impossible for others, as he has a perfect kick accuracy on top of everything, and this was shown when he kicked two balls in such a way that they traveled different trajectories yet still hit each other in mid-air. Isagi mentioned he could potentially score from anywhere within 35-meter range, including free kicks and corners, making it higher than Barou. He has a countless amount of shooting techniques to make this possible, such as the direct shot, blind shot, line drive shot, but most importantly, the trivela, which uses the outside of his foot, allowing him to score in the Japan under-20 game from outside the freaking penalty area. But wait a second, what increases the power of Rin's passes and shooting power that's already so accurate? I mean, for one, the dude has dribbling skills almost matching Bachira using the same moves, but look at his occlusion break, where he navigates through multiple players breaking their formation. Even Ness said that it required a high level of skill. However, just like Isagi, whom he rivals, Rin has his own spatial awareness, analyzing the entire field and the positions of everyone. His tactical ability was stated to be on a level where only Isagi can understand, where we have to look no further in the match between PXG and Bastard Munition, where these two are head-to-head clashing non-stop, devouring each other for the ball, where Rin's like, bruh, put your life on the line, this football is life, fam. You're gonna die here, Isagi, bruh. It is crazy. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I got too excited. One of the first weapons of Rin we discover is the Predator Eye. Yep, that's right. He had it before Barou. He first showcased this during the third selection, where he used Shidou, the number 2 ranked player in Blue Lock at the time, as a cover for his movements, and then scored a blind shot goal by using Predator Eye to find the perfect goal course. But his power level keeps increasing, as Rin's greatest weapon gets highlighted during the match against Japan's under-20 against his own brother Itoshi's side. His flow state awakening is called Pure Destruction Berserker Mode. The trigger for Rin's flow state is the impulse to destroy a strong opponent while simultaneously risking himself the entire match until the score is 3-3, where Rin has felt like a supporting character, but he's like, nah, I'm the main protagonist, bitch, especially to his brother's side, who has time and time again bested Rin throughout the match. So to become the lead protagonist through which the game revolves around, Rin had to become the one who left it all behind, especially his past of clinging to his brother, where his entire way of playing soccer was built around being the shadow to his brother. So he decides to become Zero, activating his flow state awakening true power, where he is the Dishonored one, reverting back to an instinctual level of play with his freaking tongue literally hanging out. The main power of Total Destruction is that Rin challenges everyone on the field to a duel against their own strongest weapon and counters them. For example, against Tepe Niru's speed, Rin leads him the opposite way and jukes past him as the faster one takes longer to change direction, breaking the dude's leg. Derai, whose weapon is slipping behind people to steal the ball, is countered by Rin, Rin, simply using his hand to stop his rotation, killing another. The third victim is Korma, whose weapon is his Doberman charge, where he uses his monstrous physicality to tackle and keep the striker off balance. However, Rin uses his physicality and speed against him, dropping him to the ground like a bitch. Basically, Rin calculates the strongest aspect of the player just to devour them so he can get stronger himself. Oliver IQ even observed that he would have a 0% chance of defeating Rin by himself and only a 50-50 if Shidou assisted him. Later, in the Neo League against Man City, Rin was able to take over the game to score a hat-trick, defeating Nagi in a trapping duel to score the winning goal. But currently, we have witnessed a new level to Rin's total destruction with his awakened power. He is facing against Isagi's Bayern Munich team, where he states a player that brings him torment and suffering, someone that is stronger than him and is an ultimate egoist looking down on him, is what triggers his powers and flow state to destroy them. In chapter 271, we learn he sympathizes with the bad guy and always loved destruction since he was a kid. Kaiser claims Rin has the best individual skill level in the entire Blue Lock program. But although Rin has evolved to top gear, Isagi's meta eye can still keep up with him. So he evolves once more, and this time total destruction isn't just about destroying the field, but Rin himself. He demolishes everyone on the field in chapter 273, where he is putting his life on the line by literally not scoring an easy goal, as it would not make him have an evolution, which, by the way, in an official match would have him banned for life from football. This zero-care attitude is incomprehensible to even Isagi with his Omnivision on, making Rin the most powerful. He ends up scoring a goal so magical that he busts nuts, devouring Isagi even though he entered flow and had full concentration with his tongue hanging out, claiming to put his life on the line. But after this, he also manages to defeat Isagi as well, as he surpassed his brother Itoshi Sai for the first time in his life. Rin has a phantom-like image of Sai, similar to Baki having a vision of his own father and a grasshopper. It's extremely accurate, and Rin still couldn't get past him. That is until Isagi comes out of nowhere, also putting his life on the line. Guys, this is still football, okay? As Isagi collides into him, he somehow maneuvers his own body into a free kick-like motion whilst the ball is moving and he's mid-air. Like, bro, what? This made even Isagi question himself, wondering if he was simply a supporting character when Rin has awakened. Rin has truly surpassed him at this point in the story. He's now just using Isagi to further awaken himself and become more powerful, which is just a central theme of the story. Speaking of someone powerful and having a changed attitude is Kunigami. In the start, he was this happy guy looking like a clone of Ichigo, but now he's probably one of the most unhinged people on the pitch of all. He's rude all the time. Kunigami is a clinical finisher, meaning he only needs a few opportunities to score a goal, as he places the ball exactly where it will beat the goalkeeper. Being a high-powered left-footed shooter, Kunigami is a rare type of striker. When left unmarked, he is guaranteed to make an easy goal. However, he gets kicked out of the Blue Lock program eventually, but instead of giving up on his dreams, Ego gave him an option to join in his experiment known as the Wild Card. Kunigami is being manufactured by Ego throughout the story to create another Noel Noah, with multiple experiments and training programs to make it happen. Jinpachi Ego tells him to throw away his egocentrism so he can install his own playstyle within him to be the catalyst of creating the world's best. It states that his body has improved so much physically despite his age that I'm starting to think that these guys gave him roids. But the power increase is specifically to do with his cardiopulmonary function, muscle mass, and overall fitness, all to approach Noel Noah, the #1 striker. One of his weapons is having super strength, marking Shidou like a dog, beating him in all aerial clashes and stopping him from scoring throughout the PXG match in the Neo League. Remember, beforehand, Kunigami was unable to understand nor stop Shidou at all, which means the wild card increased his power multiple times over. He's a regular for Bastard Munchen after all, and is strong enough to trap the ball whilst two defenders are trying to hold him back. His dribbling ain't half bad either, since he kept up with Bachira's improved dribbling ability for a few moments during the Barca game. This was made possible due to the new weapon he gained through the wild card. He is now ambidextrous, which is the ability to use both his feet to score goals just like Noah. It's important as he can now do things such as a shot fake cut-in where Kunigami fakes a shot with either leg, forcing defenders to attempt to block him, and then he cuts past to set up a real shot. Isagi commented on how this ability has led to Kunigami being a constant threat to the defense, calling him a perfect striker with no weak spots. So with this power, he can utilize his finesse shot and knuckle shot with crazy range up to 40 meters. That is one of the highest in the entire series. However, he also has a true ego awakening, achieving it unconsciously several times. Isagi recalls Kunigami entering flow during the Team Z match twice, and he also had a flow chemical reaction with the MC to score against Barca. And most recently, Kunigami entered flow to assist Isagi's goal while shutting down Shidou at the same time. These feats guaranteed he is going to be picked for the Japanese team in the World Cup, as every round in the Neo League he's ranked in the top 10. However, as strong as Kunigami's ambidextry is, it still fell flat against Don Lorenzo and his zombie dribbling weapon. He is part of the Generational 11, which are dubbed the next football superstars of the world. Lorenzo is stated to be the world's best under 20 centre back, being a master when it comes to man marking and blocking a ball's path, be it a pass or a shot. This was best shown when he stopped the KAISER IMPACT, one of the strongest weapons in this entire series, and it's a feat that no other player has accomplished. This completely dismantled Bayern Munich's defenders from Raichi to even Yukimiya, who were left in the dust. This is due to the way Lorenzo moves by constantly pivoting his body and the center of gravity, where no one can predict where the ball is going to land next. He can easily cut his way through the midfield, creating an opening for his striker King Barou, as multiple defenders are needed to contain the zombie dribbling weapon. This power has been tried and tested multiple times throughout the world, as Lorenzo is ranked amongst the best in the World 11 alongside Itoshi Sai, so no wonder $0 Raichi fell flat against it. Now, whilst Lorenzo moves up the midfield using his dribbling, Chigiri has his speed, which after joining Man City has evolved into a new weapon called the 44 degrees Red Panther Sniper. Chigiri is a counter-attack specialist, creating unexpected scoring opportunities at any time when the opponent has most of their players forward, where his speed tears apart their formation. He has naturally strong leg muscles and expert footwork, which enables him to run down the field at incredible pace whilst controlling the ball at the same time. The dude is the fastest in Blue Lock and created a weapon out of it. For example, he can cover 50 meters in 5.77 seconds, and he uses this power to pass to himself, kicking the ball in a long distance ahead of him and running to pick it up because he can just outpace the dude and they won't catch up. Chigiri has even sped past Oliver IQ, the #1 defender of the Japan under-20. But since he's a winger himself now, he also has an ability called Jungle Jam Run, where he runs into crowded areas of the pitch to draw his opponents out, which gives his teammates more space with the ball on the field. However, it's his Red Panther that shines. This ability was developed through Chris Prince, who introduced the idea of a golden zone for a player, which is a position on the field from which a striker can score with 100% accuracy. For Chigiri, it was 19 meters from the goal, 44 degrees left, where he has racked up so many goals, at least one a match, I believe. However, this weapon only comes alive due to his speed that lets him cutting fast into the enemy's formation to reach that exact spot, continuously baiting his opponent through an unprompted stop and accelerating quickly. Then he uses his centering technique to fire a control shot at the corner of the goal. This is a devastating weapon, where in his match against Isagi's team, Chigiri completely overwhelmed the defenders and even Gagamaru, the strongest goalkeeper in the NEL. This allowed him to not only score in this match, but in every match he has played in. And speaking of speed, one of the world's strongest, Loki from PSG, is the best at it. He is a prodigy, having been selected for the France national team already and playing professional football in the French league. He can burst his acceleration from a neutral position to reach top speed faster than anyone else. It was so quick that Isagi couldn't even react back in the World 5 match. But the most defining weapon of his god speed, which can be used when an opponent is trying to press him, Loki charges past them in a blink of an eye, completely leaving his opponent in the dust, just like he did to the number 1 Rin. He even has the endurance to maintain this power for an extended period of time. Loki he's basically Mbappe, and we know how good Mbappe is.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
But in the recent chapters, Loki showed that he really is built different. This guy is so good that Noel Noah admitted that he's the only one who threatens his position at the top. But why is that the case? Well, it's simply his raw talent and ability. He surpasses all sorts of logic with his speed, contrary to Noah's methodical way of playing football. When KAISER was given a free kick, Isagi used his meta vision to its maximum power to try and read where he would go. Isagi started moving but misread the spin that KAISER put on the ball. But then Loki comes out of nowhere, moving after the shot was taken and somehow stopped it. Guys, Isagi was in front of him, but he ran past him easily and stopped the KAISER impact. This is the same attack that brought back KAISER from the darkness that Isagi put him in. The most powerful shot in all the world of football, and the only thing in KAISER's arsenal that surpasses Noel Noah. But Loki plucked it out of the sky like it was nothing, like he's questionably right now the greatest player in the world, since his talent causes him to continuously awaken. But you know someone who would have busted all kinds of nuts if he fought Loki? It's Shidou, whose weapons are so freaky that they have to rate his goals M for mature. In Blue Lock, Shidou enjoys physical altercations, more specifically violence, as he believes there are no heroes in football or even rules. His desire to play football is a biological need that fulfills him. Shidou's only ambition is to leave his genetic stamp on the globe and score goals, playing elite football with other awesome players that make him happy. And he becomes absolutely bored when others can't make him explode or don't explode themselves. Yeah, you literally heard that right. He wants to bust nuts whilst balling. This is because football makes Shidou feel alive. It's the only way he can prove what he is, by achieving something, leaving a mark on the world. He has an insane ability to position himself at a critical point in the penalty area and score goals that most players wouldn't even think to attempt. This is all via his merit and own skill. Now in the start, Ego said there is no one in the Blue Lock program that can handle him, and later on, he's considered one of the best, with top tier stats being matched up to Rin and Isagi in the Neo League. He scored an average of 2 goals a game, the highest of any player besides Rin. Shidou makes this possible by utilizing so many different weapons. For example, he is a very dominant physical player. His strength alone was enough to make Igarashi feel like his skull was getting crushed, and he was able to compete with Kunigami. So he always uses strength to leverage against players when most of them can't compete. But then, when you combine this with his awareness, it's nuts. Shidou's spatial awareness is always focused on the objective. Now, unlike others that consider the player's locations and weapons, he can See? The goal? Anytime he's in the penalty box, even when he is not physically facing it. This means Shidou can score so much because of his quick reflexes and speed, which enables him to reach any spot on the pitch quicker than anybody else and use every part of his body to its full, enabling him to pull off amazing, rare athletic feats like Ibrahimovic. Most famously, he responded quickly to Saitoshi's pass quick ball to score a goal in the Japan under-20 game. So whether the location is favorable or not, there are essentially many ways to use the drive shot weapon. Additionally, Shidou is able to avoid needing to reposition himself by executing the drive shot with that flexibility power. Now, because he's so OP, he was recognized by Saitoshi and asked to join him on the Japan under-20 team. Now, with his guidance, Shidou's power evolved again, to the point that Blue Lock's team struggled to deal with it. Like my man, I'm saying again, he's basically Ibrahimovic, doing bicycle kicks against Kunigami and Rio. Later on, making it even more insane in the under-20 match and the Neo League. Remember when he did the freaking no-look goal, which was mwah? And then the Dragon Drive, which is a volley that scored from outside the penalty area. However, this gets leveled up again with the Dragon Header variant. Gagamaru had no chance to stop it because it had so much power. And to perform this shot, Shidou had to literally anticipate the speed and rotation of the ball, letting it hit the exact spot on his head completely on instinct, driving it forward whilst being pressed by Chigiri. But eventually, he too has a true ego awakening. Like, think about the moment in the Japan under-20 match. This led him to push his physical and perceptive abilities to the extreme, where he can smell goals that others can't. He did a big bang drive, literally busting nuts towards the goalkeeper from outside the penalty box, creating one of the greatest goals in Blue Lock. This skill continues in the PSG match against Isagi, where Shidou scored the exact super goal he did. Without even looking at the ball, he caught Charles's pass and gets it in the net. Later, he is keeping up with Rin, even in chapter 274, where they have awakened. He almost steals a goal off them, showcasing how his skill matches up to devour them.
Next up is the ninjutsu of Eita Otoya, or the ninja stealth steps, which is an ability where Otoya is able to weave past multiple opponents in a flash, causing him to get right behind a striker and steal the ball. Wait, what the fuck did I just say? Are we in the hidden soccer village right now? What is this, dude? We saw this first displayed during the third selection, where Otoya was ranked 4th, but was able to easily grab the ball from Rin and score using ninja steps. His stealth-based playstyle was monstrous during the pre-Metavision era of Blue Lock, but recently it's kind of falling off. When you have monsters like Isagi, you can see past such politics. The next weapon is probably the deadliest in Blue Lock, where the user could literally be sent to the hospital if not played right. It is Igarashi's militia dribbling.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Yep, bro couldn't hang with the rest of Blue Lock, so to get some game time, which he finally got in chapter 276, Igarashi literally started to use a dribbling style which draws out fouls. First, he will make some basic dribbles to have the enemy let their guard down. Then, bro just jumps into the player pressing him last second, having him fall and cry like a little bitch, which causes the referee to give his team a free kick. Bro claims that he has mastered this style to a point that any opponent who wards his right shoulder will get a foul 100%. Igarashi's militia dribbling was so strong that it was able to stop Itoshi Rin in his awakened state, which not even Isagi could do. In fact, Monk used the feral state that Rin was in his berserker mode and used it to draw out a foul through his militia mode. This is the reason he calls it a genius killer, because the stronger you are in Blue Lock, you're more in your flow state, in your zone. All you're thinking about is the goal. And Igarashi comes in, knocks you up, gets you that yellow card, and gets the ball back to his team through a free kick. Even Noel Noya stated that Igarashi did a good job, which is a very high praise for him. We could see Igarashi use this ability to stand his ground against the very best, using their own weapons against them. So this is a power that can stop basically anyone. I mean, it's a genius tactic in real life to draw fouls to get free kicks and penalties, so it would be OP in Blue Lock as well. Another insane weapon in Blue Lock that fans praise a lot is Ryo's Chameleon. Using his skills of being an all-rounder, Ryo is able to copy anything other players have demonstrated. He literally unlocks 99 out of 100 across all copied weapons. But how did this happen? Well, Ryo is a genius confirmed by the author and a utility player. This means he's capable of doing any role that the team requires. We see his stats where his overall rating is 85, having an A rank in every aspect of being a striker. As a result, Ryo has great passing, shooting, dribbling, physicality, stamina, and ball control, essentially being dubbed a jack of all trades. When we look at other players, even Isagi throughout the arc, some of their stats are C or B, while others are A or S tier. Ryo joins Man City, where Chris Prince helped him become even stronger, just like Nagi and Chigiri. They focused on creating healthy bodies with strong. So instead of relying too much on their talents, Chris told them all to understand the mechanism that makes it exist in the first place, as natural talent withers away if it's not taken care of. Therefore, they all get muscles in a balanced way that bring out their talents even better than before, creating an ideal version of themselves in their mind. With this understanding, Ryo unlocks several new weapons using Chameleon. He starts understanding how others use their weapons to input metadata within himself. Ryo recreates these abilities, but the downside is that he can only copy skills and abilities that are within his physical capability and not natural physical talent, such as Kunigami's extreme physical moves that was created through the wild card. Ryo cannot do that. On top of that, Isagi notes that Chameleon will always be inferior to the original because Ryo's power maxes out at 99%. However, even at 99, it's better than everyone else in at least one category within the Blue Lock program. Noel Noah, the best player in the world, said that he was a midfielder who created countless opportunities. This is because of his plays. For example, Eagle put Ryo in defense during the U20 match, where he copied total defense from Oliver Aiki, physical pressure from Kazuma Neo, and off-the-ball movements of Miroku Darai. This resulted in him being capable of stopping Shidou, but that's not all. Ryo even traps the ball like Nagi, passes like Bachira, scores a goal using techniques from Yukimiya's gyro shot, and perfectly breaks the defense with Itoshi Sai's pass. Like, this dude is completely busted because, as I said, he can do any position on the field, where his weapon Chameleon can go into striker mode. With this power, he destroyed the defense of Bayern Munich, where he almost scored a goal within the first few minutes of the game. And to top it all off, Ryo also has Metavision.
What?
Metavision makes Ryo's weapon's power level even higher, as he constantly takes in information from his central and peripheral vision on where players are on the field and what they plan to do subconsciously. In the end, besides Gagamaru, no one has been able to stop Ryo when he uses his Chameleon. However, on that topic, stopping Yukimiya's weapon called Gyro Shot is also difficult. He's a striker that benefits from space behind the defensive line and counterattacks. He joined Isagi in Bayern Munich and was pissed off and jealous of the MC when he passed the ball to Kunigami to score, stating he threw away his ideals to do such a thing.
Think about your life. You are a failure. You are a failure. You can never make it.
This is because Yukimiya claims he's a pacifist, as he thinks the easiest and most peaceful way to score would be to do so himself. Yukimiya is dubbed the one-on-one emperor. He's not a case, he's a fucking emperor, because it's almost impossible to beat this dude if he has possession of the ball. He's good enough to beat Rin and then Shidou whilst doing this. However, Ryo mentioned that Yukimiya was a hardcore infighter, with his physique being key to his dribbling ability. It is suggested that at least within Blue Lock, there is no player he cannot dribble past. In his dribbling, we have seen him use drag scissors and La Boba, just like we do in in real life. His weapon is very strong because he knows street football, which is unlocked through his flow state awakening. Street ball, what the fuck am I saying, bro? Still soccer, guys. It's still soccer. Come on. Street ball allows him to be more precise and cut into tighter spaces that other players can. This also unlocks an ability where he can figure out the best path to take to destroy the defense, as if dodging obstacles in the street at full speed. He proved this against Manshine City, where his flow state allowed him to defeat 5 professional club defenders. He's not even a slow striker, because in one of the matches, we see him keep up with Chigiri before he could reach the golden zone part of his weapon to shoot. And as we know, Chigiri is the fastest striker in Blue Lock. However, what lets him score is his other weapon called Gyro Shot. It gives the ball insane spin that looks like a miss kick to other players. However, it curves left or right in a split moment, which makes it difficult for the goalkeeper to block. He can use this at insane range, matching even Barou, where Reo insinuates that Yukimiya can score from 30 meters with it. However, Yukimiya even increased the power level of this weapon by inventing the sword screw after observing Chris Prince's knuckle shot, which is inspired from Ronaldo. This instead makes the ball have a horizontal rotation, causing it to drop drastically to the ground. Ego cussed him out in chapter 196, saying he was glad he missed because his ego would be too big for what he's worth if he had made that shot. It would have caused a bad effect on his psychology in the long run, just like Nagi scoring a fluke goal, but now he can't reproduce it. Success won't come to people who blind themselves with deluded fantasies. He needed to beat the last 2 defenders and Chris Prince to actually get the dub, where Yukimiya seeks to overcome his hurdle of bad vision in his eyes and aligning his ego correctly. Eventually, he does do this in a way, teaming up with Isagi to score with the gyro shot. But I was more Isagi than Yukimiya, let's be honest, guys. Now for the main man himself, Isagi Yoichi. He has 2 main abilities that will make him the best striker in the world. The first being his direct shot. In its infant form, this weapon was simply striking immediately to beat even the fastest defenders, being clearly inspired by Filippo Inzaghi, who could barely dribble but managed to score against the best teams in the world thanks to his first-time shot ability. Isagi has surpassed some of the top players in Blue Lock. For example, when he used it against Nagi, who could do nothing to stop it, which caused him to lose his first ever game of soccer, looking to surpass Isagi from this point. Even the best player in the Neo Egoist League, Rin, was caught completely off guard by another variation of this shot, the back heel version, which is reminiscent of both Jamie Vardy and Cristiano Ronaldo in real life. Isagi is nowhere near as talented technically as the likes of Rin or Barou, but this one shot made Bachira believe in him, an attack that can surpass all other players and their genius. We've seen Isagi scoring from near outside the box with ease, and after his training for phase 2 of Blue Lock, it became way more busted. His accuracy is one of the best in the manga, so if you give Isagi the room, he will definitely score, and we all know that his Metavision helps him get into these positions. Metavision X Direct Shot is the winning formula that Isagi came up with very early on in the story. All of his other abilities are just branches of this. This first form of Direct Shot carried Isagi for a long time. He even won the under 21 game because of it, scoring a phenomenal volley, but we soon saw the limitations of this technique. The weakness of the Direct Shot got completely exposed by Ness from Bayern Munich, where Isagi could only make this work if he used his stronger foot, so if he's put even a little off balance, the shot will fail. But now, thanks to his training with the Kunigami, Isagi has managed to learn how to use it with both feet, using a lefty direct shot now. This was a big step up in his evolution. I mean, he scored his very first goal in the NEL thanks to it. It's so broken that even Ness and IQ were completely stunned, wondering what the hell he did to his body in just a few, not even a few weeks, in like 10 days.
Damn, that's crazy.
But there's another another level to this direct shot that could lead Isagi to becoming the best striker in the world. His two-gun volley. Isagi is able to do a fake mid-air with a 1 foot to throw off his opponents, then striking the ball whilst it's mid-air with the other, akin to Nagi's revolver juggling. But Isagi's is a lot more powerful, as his direct shot is now a game of rock, paper, scissors for his enemies, because it can either be a right-footed direct shot, a left foot, or it could even be neither, faking them out completely. However, this direct shot is only possible due to his spatial awareness. Very early on in the story, Isagi already had the power to smell goals, which was merely the beginning, but even with this, he was able to keep up with the likes of Rin or Nagi. Even Rin, touted as a genius in terms of not only technical skill, but vision too, was surpassed by Isagi and only won because of luck. Isagi was predicting everything. Against Niko, he destroyed him, looking down on this dude like a goddamn god, which will become somewhat of a theme. Unlike Niko, Isagi is a true egoist, with his team being simply puppets for him to use to score his own goals. Later against Nagi, it leveled up even further, with him claiming that because of his vision, he could see the future. Yup, the Sharingan is here, ladies and gentlemen.
Je m'appelle Sasuke Uchiwa.
Isagi uses this vision to find the perfect positions, sensing the best area to go into to score goals, and when you combine that with the direct shot, man, this guy becomes a force to be reckoned with, a real monster. Even when you look at Isagi defensively, he's insane, because he can sense or smell them, as he says. With that ability, he can easily predict where the opponents are going to pass, leading to many moments where crucial attacks are stopped completely, especially in his match against Barou. Isagi always compares himself to geniuses around him, but there is an area where he's actually a genius himself, a genius of adaptability. What does this mean? Well, Isagi is able to take in information around him better than anyone and turn even the most craziest situations to his advantage by devouring his opponent. The first time Isagi did this was against Naruhaya, as when he was outmatched by his off-the-ball dribbling, he stole the technique for himself to exploit blind spots, which links extremely well to his next level vision, creating a chemical reaction between the two abilities, which is what Isagi strives to do. Now, the main instance of devouring someone was against Barou. Barou was playing completely solo and Isagi couldn't do anything with him. Every path towards the goal was dead. He couldn't smell any of them. So he chose to use Barou's presence. Isagi used the guy as a decoy to distract the other team so he could create a chemical reaction with Nagi. And to go even further, with Barou's darkness, he created his own light, scoring a goal and calling bro a donkey in the process.
Donkey.
He completely dismantled Barou's self-esteem so much that for the first time, he forces Barou to pass to him out of instinct, subconsciously admitting that he was inferior to Isagi. This is also the same. Okay, I just got reminded of that donkey scene. That was peak. This is peak. Peak Blue Lock, man. Need more of that in season 2.
Donkey.
This is also the same reason that was used by Isagi to surpass Rin, even if only for a second. He tricked him into believing everything went according to Isagi's plan, when this is just what he led Rin to believe. Bro was so into the roleplay that he tricked the readers at the same time. And I'm sure you guys remember the U21 game, right? Isagi is, I know everyone read Blue Lock, right guys? Yeah, 100% of people watching this, you've read Blue Lock, so you remember the U21 game.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Here, Isagi was able to read the field on a different level to anyone, including both Rin and his brother Itoshi Sai, using their battle to his advantage and learning from his past mistakes against Rin to get into the perfect position to score. So anything that goes wrong or not according to plan, Isagi simply uses to his advantage to take everyone off guard and score, which is when this evolves from not only being good vision and adaptability, but meta vision. Now at this point in the story, pretty much everyone has metavision. But Isagi was the progenitor of this power, and I'd say has the best version of it. Metavision allows him to become a borderline deity of the field, looking down on everyone. We saw glimpses of this power in chapter 103, where he managed to play on pure instinct, using all of his senses to see the field different from everyone else. This occurred again in chapter 166, where he stopped Ness's attack with ease, using this vision to pass to Kunigami for the win. But the first true use of metavision was in chapter 182. Thanks to Kaiser and how he used his eyes, Isagi realizes that humans have two kinds of vision: central vision and peripheral vision. In soccer, it's vital that a player is able to take in their surroundings so they can sort information better through the chaos. If you solely focus on central vision, your view is limited and narrowed. This is why many managers choose to tell newer players to keep their head up, so their focus isn't completely on the ball and they don't get caught off guard. Kaiser uses his peripheral vision almost constantly to give himself a constant stream of information, updating his database of players to calculate the optimal point that no one has grasped yet. Isagi can use both 2D and 3D viewpoints. What the am I saying? Isagi can use both 2D and 3D viewpoints in tandem whilst also looking and dissecting his opponent's playstyles, giving him a fourth dimension view of the field, aka metavision. Bro basically like shakes his head left and right a lot. That's kind of what it is. Like, he's gathering metadata. This is a god-level view of the field. Remember that Chigiri told Isagi that he could eventually look down on everyone, and this is how. Kaiser uses his spatial awareness or power of insight and footballing IQ to process this information, and alongside his Kaiser impact is completely broken. But Isagi realizes that he's already started to access this power since he surpassed everyone multiple times. He knew that if he can tap into this power for an entire game, he could truly become a kami. Metavision X direct shot will not just be a golden formula, but a combination that can take on the world. So realizing this, Isagi uses metavision consciously for the first time. However, continuously taking in this much information is very draining on his eyes and brain, but bro basically has the Byakugan now. He can see everyone's weak points as long as it's within his range of vision. I mean, look at these panels. Isagi is taking in ridiculous amount of metadata constantly. He steals a pass that no one else could see, and everyone realizes that he's just built different. He's Himsagi now. Himsagi even views himself as a pawn, thinking and executing inputs and outputs simultaneously like a goddamn computer, thinking that if I was a god, how would I best use myself? It goes so insane that Isagi himself is blown away by his own brain as he breaks Manshine City's entire team like they are nothing, using Kunigami as bait to get himself through on goal, utilizing his usual resonance with Corona to find the best spot for him to score with his direct shot, just like Kaiser did with his Kaiser impact. Remember that Kaiser was seen as a player who could potentially rival Noah, but Isagi at just 17 years old is starting to reach him. If not for Kunigami and Kaiser, he would have scored one of the best goals in Blue Lock, which pisses Isagi off to the point where he threatens to kill Kaiser. Like, relax, dude.
Daddy, chill.
Anyway, this new metavision is so overpowered that Noah recognizes that this ability could one day take Isagi all the way to the top. Metavision does have a weakness though. It's not just mentally draining, but physically. It's rough for his body to handle, especially since he's one of the most physically challenged players in Blue Lock. He collapses right after the game, using it properly for the first time. But essentially, with metavision, Isagi went from a player who occasionally became a hero to the best player on the field, becoming the Eye of the Hurricane. With his future sight, he completely stops Chris Prince in his tracks. You know, the number 2 ranked player in the whole world. He completely dismantled the number 2 player's weapon, Knuckleball, which should be impossible to predict. This face says it all. He was devoured by Isagi. There was still something Isagi was missing though, which he learned after losing to Nagi and Reo. Plus, when Yukimiya got in his way, and this is called egocentrism. Well, everyone in Blue Lock uses views themselves as the protagonist, which dictates their decision. They view their own actions as a step to becoming the main character. Isagi was mistakenly using players as though they were side characters. So this increased the power of his decision making as he realizes that he must know how the other protagonists think. This new metadata makes it way too easy to read everyone with ease. Even super goals can now be stopped by Isagi, but he needs to have a solid goal to actually enter his flow state, which at this point is destroying Kaiser. Even when Yukimiya tries to pull the same shit again, Isagi sees through it and uses it to his advantage. Now, I could talk about Isagi's metavision all day, but the main takeaway is that despite many people having metavision, Isagi's will always be next level since he's getting new pieces to the puzzle. Like, we even saw him use the #1 player Noah and devouring him. Currently in the PSG match, he has added white hair from Ultra Instinct and Byakugan to his eyes, where his metavision has evolved to omnivision. He literally made Kaiser a clown like he promised he would, where the players now choose Isagi to be their leader on the field. But let's talk about the clown real quick, because he's built different too. Kaiser is one of the best players in all of Blue Lock, and just like every other character such as Barou, Rin, etc., he is Isagi's rival. His main skill is known as the Kaiser Impact. This is basically a volley that is so insanely fast that people can barely track it with the human eye. It's so broken that Noah state it's the one ability that Kaiser has surpassed him on. When they first met, Isagi states that the guy is the embodiment of what he's trying to achieve. Kaiser barely needs to be balanced to fire his shot, and there are multiple variants of this attack. The first being Kaiser Impact Bien Shush. How do you say that? The first being Kaiser Impact Bien Shush. While mid-air, Kaiser is able to perform a bicycle kick that ricochets off the floor. Usually a shot will lose its speed, but not with Kaiser, since remember, this is the most powerful kick in the world. It fires through IQ's legs. Bienshus actually means nutmeg, so Kaiser was specifically aiming for this, which takes his accuracy to insane levels. Lightning Strike is next, and it begins with Kaiser taking a quick step to the side, creating an opening for him to shoot. Many players do this in real life, since the defender will always be a step behind, but with Kaiser's outrageous ability, it's close to unstoppable. Basically, if you give him a second of space, this dude is scoring from almost any range. Magnus is the most broken form of Kaiser Impact, where Kaiser took quite a while to get this shot right, since the ball not only has to stop completely still, but he must somehow hit the ball perfectly to add a curve. But when the moment came, Kaiser hit the ball harder than ever, making the wind itself his ally as it not only curved inwards but kept the immense shot power. The best comparison to this is with Roberto Carlos and his free kick. Even the way Carlos strikes the ball is remarkably similar. The ball goes so wide that it looks like a complete miss hit, so it takes the goalkeeper and defenders even more off guard. But the only reason Kaiser is even able to use this attack is because of his own metavision. Kaiser's version is something special. It's so broken that he inspired Isagi into unlocking this. Unlike Isagi, Kaiser is able to use this for 90 minutes with no sort of stamina loss or strain. However, what makes him even more broken is the fact that Kaiser also has Predator Eye, set to be the direct opposite of metavision. Yep, this is a power we first saw with Barou, but Kaiser somehow has both the metavision and Predator Eye. What the fuck is this dude, bro? The guy is just him, alright? He is German him. There's a reason bro is worth 320 million. The difference between his Predator Eye and Barou's is that Barou solely focuses on the goalkeeper to decide where to shoot. But Kaiser, he's way stronger because he can sense the weaknesses in everyone around him as well. Meaning that he not only can use it for his Kaiser Impact, but for, well, everything. So it levels up his overall skill and team even more. Overall, there are many people who have their own version of metavision. All of the pro players have it, for example, and even the likes of Hiyori, who is a playmaker with his passes, he utilizes it as a means to shadow Isagi and his plays. He supports him through their shared shared vision, minimizing the time it takes for Isagi to strategize and increasing his play speed on the fly. This made them achieve something that no one on the manga thought even possible yet. A goal where they didn't even look or talk to each other. He just passed a long ball with Isagi meeting the end of it, shocking everyone into disbelief that a goal like that was possible. On the other end, Oliver IQ uses this power for defensive reasons. He has spatial awareness, a strong body, and metavision, achieving this where we saw him outreach Isagi and Kaiser, beating them to various loose balls. Up next though is Niko.
Who?
You know, the guy who cried after losing to Isagi in season 1? Yeah, that guy. Niko's main skill is his watchtower, stemmed from spatial awareness. Just like Isagi, he could smell the best area for goals. He can analyze the whole pitch, taking account of not only just his own team, but his opponents. Niko's vision is so busted that it rivals Isagi's and has surpassed him before, where he organized his entire team and was their heart. He also stopped looking to become a striker, instead becoming a monstrous defender. His main ability, Watchtower Soccer, focuses his vision on not just on the player who's currently in possession, but rather the players around them. This allows him to sense the most dangerous threats and the likely paths that they will take. It's similar to Predator Eye, but instead using it for defense, blocking paths on where people would score. Niko has even managed to stop the prodigy Itoshi Sai, and no one other than Rin has managed to do this, so he's no joke. But of course, his own metavision scans the field at a crazy fast rate, inputting all the information for his watchtower. However, in Blue Lock, there's only one major goalkeeper that we have seen, Gagamaru. He was built to be a keeper, being born with very long limbs that allow him to reach into the furthest corners of the goalpost, almost like Donnarumma in real life, which Gagamaru used to jump extremely high to score headers and be a poacher, even using his insane flexibility to score a scorpion kick, which was popularized by the Colombian goalkeeper Rene Higuita. While Rene's kick had him on the ground to kick the ball away, Gagamaru's scorpion kick is even more impressive, where he's able to do it mid-air by propelling his body up with his feet and retaining his center of gravity. This allows him to block the ball in the most unpredictable ways, using his whole body as a weapon. But his explosive reaction time is what makes Gagamaru special. Without any wasted movement, he can perform last-minute saves, including when he stopped Barou, and it seems as though he began to learn his own form of metavision when he stopped him, because this was not just simple reaction time. We could see him have an eye very similar to Predator Eye that specialized to stop striker. But to enjoy more peak Blue Lock, watch this video explaining all the real-life players that are in the manga, like Ronaldo and Messi. Also, check out our Patreon, guys, because whenever we don't cover a Blue Lock chapter on the main channel, we're posting it to members and patrons on those platforms. So become a member, you'll get weekly Blue Lock chapter updates.